Usually you can DJ the next tune of the roller into a third 16th, and that will work mostly right. So that's section 1, section 2, you paste it here, and then the next tune is gonna come on. So then basically you just really quickly bang out the mixes, because it's exactly the same motion pretty much. Welcome. So recently we've posted a new mix called Sounds of the Second Drop. In the comment section, Phil Anderson,
Mr. Anderson,
asked, how did we make this mix? We said it 3-deck in Ableton. Phil Anderson requested a tutorial. So big up Phil Anderson. Today is the day when we actually gonna do this and tell you wagwan. But before we proceed, obviously there is gonna be some, oh, but you didn't DJ your mixes. For us, we don't necessarily need to please our egos about the fact that we make our offline mixes, we DJ them. We DJ live enough anyways. We care about the quality of the product that we put out, and when it comes to offline mixes, we have an option to provide the best sounding mix so our listeners can enjoy it, and it's gonna be really impressive. Not everyone has to do it. We love doing it because we can. In fact, it's not that difficult either. You can do it literally so quickly. And it's so much quicker than DJing your mixes, because imagine if you did a little mistake or something, you have to redo it or, like, you know, glue it together. Do it in Ableton, save your time, make it banging, let people enjoy it. So how we do it in Ableton? So first of all, we compile our mix in Rekordbox first, we test it on our decks, we know that the mix works. So let's say in our Rekordbox we have Block to Block February mix from a while back. What's cool about Rekordbox, they tell you the name of the BPM already, and you can drag and drop your tune straight into Ableton. Let's go to Ableton and see the template that I've created. First of all, put all your tunes in, put them correctly so they work together as if you know, DJ them. And after that, you're gonna use equalization and faders and effects, you know, to make the mix work like you would by twisting knobs and faders. Let's import a couple of tunes, because I know that these tunes, they're gonna work together in order. They all tried and tested. Bam, bam, and bam. Cool. So when you import your tunes in Ableton, you need to think about what BPM your project is in. For the sake of this tutorial, let's say we're doing it 174. So the project is 174, however, the tunes are in different BPMs. What makes sense to do is to let you Ableton know that this tune over here is not 174, it's 175, so Ableton knows what to do with this. The reason we want to do it because we want to have every drum hit on the grid, so then it's easier for us to, you know, crack on with manipulating it later on. What I usually do, import the tune, select warp mode, enable, check the BPM of the tune, 175, bam bam bam, let the Ableton know that this tune is in 175. Warp mode, choose Complex or Complex Pro, I prefer Complex Pro. Now, what I like to do, I like to work from the drop backwards. So first of all, I'm gonna find the first hit of the drop, the first kick drum of the drop, and put it on the grid, and then roll it backwards to make sure everything is working properly. Here's the hit. Let's roll this off like this. So now, if you put it on the grid properly, you will see that every hit, every drum hit is supposed to be on the grid. So far I can see that's true. You can enlarge it to double check. Yes. Perfect. So now let's put it where it's supposed to be, like around here, and then roll it backwards. Perfect. Now it's like when you're building your tune in Ableton, everything is perfectly to the 16ths. The next thing, I'm gonna do exactly the same thing to all the other tunes. So turn a lunar, BPM 174, and this one is 174 as well. So technically I don't need to tell to Ableton to Wagwan, but for the sake of this video I will. Bam, bam, might as well just do it straight here as well. Bam, bam. When you're making a mix, make into your muscle memory. That's the first thing what you do. Find the drop. Bam, I think it's here, so it starts. Yes. Put it on a grid. Check what's going on. Yeah, looks good to me. So now, where do I put this tune to make it blend well with the first tune? Obviously I know because we've prepared this mix to play on the decks, so we know where it goes. But there's also a cool thing that if you're into music production or you know your DJing very well too, you will know that it's all about the 16s. Usually you can DJ the next tune of the roller into a third 16s, and that will work mostly right. So this is 16, this is 16, this is 16, then this 16 is the last 16. I call them sections. So the last section roll of you know, relaxation before the breakdown, back to the business. So this tune I want to DJ into the third 16 or into the third section. So 1, 2, 3, bam. So following this principle, you can literally build your mixes in Ableton so quickly. It's gonna save you so much time and so precise. Bam, let's double check that. Perfect. Now let's do the last one as well. Bam. So I'm going to follow the same principle, bring this to the second 16, third 16. Like this. The third 16 of the second tune, obviously. So we've got 2 here, and then it goes into here. And the first tune, basically, it can go away. So now we get this. Now we know how the tunes work. What we need to do now is to mix them together to make them sound well, nice and cohesive. That's the principle. So the next thing we're gonna do is look at what we've got on the actual channel here in our template. We don't have any processing going on the channels because it's in the groups. The reason is because once you've done all your mixes, you can just like close these boys and then move on into, you know, doing the automations of your faders and equalizers, which brings us to the next point. When you build your template, in fact, I'm gonna give you this template as well, but when you build your template, always think about simulating the decks, how you want to achieve that. What you know about the decks is that to make a mix, all you need is faders, equalizer, that's it. Everything else is supplementary, like effects, filters, and all that stuff. So faders and the EQ is something that I built first. So you can see on each channel I have exactly the same strips. And I've got my lower frequency knob, if you will, my mid frequency knob, and my high frequency knob. When we DJ on the decks, we sometimes tweak the mid frequency, but most of the time it's the low frequency knob. So the same here. I don't really like use these two boys, only when I need to, only when it's, you know, gets a little harsh or something. But primarily it's all about the low frequency and the fader. Fader is the gain of the utility, just automated that to be a thing. So now let me show you how to quickly automate your faders and EQ. So when I press A, which triggers the automation lanes,